Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and for today's video, as we are at the beginning of a new month, we have the prior month's mobile revenue estimates in, and I always like to take a look at this just to get an idea of how all the games that I'm currently playing are doing, as well as games I used to play in the past, and seeing how they're doing as well. Now, I'm not one of those that gets like into the wars of the gacha games on some making more money than others. There is a lot of things that you have to take into consideration with this anyway. It is estimates. And then a lot of these games, some people may be more willing to play on PC, like a game like Wuthering Waves, and so they make a lot of revenue on that side. Or, for example, with like Umamusume, when they added in the ability to buy on their website to get kind of a bonus, that's not going to be tracked here, but this just gets you a general idea of how well your game's doing and how healthy it can be, and if it's a game you might want to continue playing as, or if it's something that might be struggling and you might need to worry with the potential of the game ending its service. But with that, we'll just go ahead and get take a look at this, um, and seeing how games compare to their prior months. And so right off the right at the tippity top, we have Genshin Impact. I mean, that's a typical thing. It's like actually a trifecta of Hoyoverse this time. I do know Zenless Zone Zero was not doing as well, as you can see here, all the way down to 9 million compared to the other Hoyoverse games. But I do know they are on, I think, what, the second anniversary now, and they just dropped another Void Hunter. And yeah, she's got a lot of fan service in her. So I can definitely see why it's popping off there. I mean, you have kind of just like 10 million down below on each one of them. I don't know what the other games are pulling here right now, but I'm guessing they've released better units as well, as they've shot up, putting all three of the top three being Hoyoverse games. You got the game, and I don't play. I used to play Honkai Star Rail and Zone Zero. I don't play them anymore. Really like them, but as I just kind of moved on into more some of these other gacha games, especially like Uma Musume, I had to cut some of the games. It's impossible to maintain all of them. Although one I do continue to play and maintain is my Goddess of Victory Nikke account, and it looks like they are really popping off. I mean, it was the summer event, and man, so they are really going like, since I've started playing it, it's only getting better as time goes on. We went from having the latest chapters. I don't think it was last month where we got the latest chapters in the story into the summer event, and man, they just pop like all the summer events. They always are popping off on those. And then now we even have the new Matisse story in kind of the background with them and Seyun, or Seyun, thanks how you say your name, and a lot more like a lot of voice acted. It's just like back to back to back voice acted stories. While I typically, if it's not voice acted, I've been skipping a lot of those, and I kind of try and watch them on the back, or put them on the back burner to try and watch them later. But definitely getting a lot of background information, a lot of characters. Really excited to see what happens in the next like main story chapters, as they kind of tied up a lot of like smaller things in the last chapters, and now we're kind of getting to the bigger picture of the new war going on there. And I mean, and the crazy good fan service in the game as well. So glad to see it's really popping off here. Summer event can kind of do that though, when people are trying to push MLB for the semi-limited units that you can only get through the summer event. They do have the collab coming up soon too with the, I think it's Persona. That one will probably make them a lot of money too. I mean, Nikke is just doing great. It may not be at Hoyoverse levels, but they are definitely holding themselves quite well and will continue to do so. Wuthering Waves, kind of just in the same area. Have not kept up with it at all, really. I don't know. I think we're already past the anniversary at this point, if I remember when it dropped. Um, Still, if I would say the 3D open world games, I would actually put Wuthering Waves above Genshin Impact and all the others that I've played up to this point. Really good game overall. It's just the 3D open worlds have been very hard to keep up with and maintain. Fate, always kind of up there. Never really played it, but that game's been around a long time, still making good money. Nothing crazy here. And then we got the big game, the one that I play the most. Umamusume popping off a little bit here. Not a massive increase. I mean, but we did have Summer Maruzensky. What was it? Summer Maruzensky was last week, or last month. Grand Live last month. I believe, and someone could correct me in the comments if I'm wrong here, the new ramen scenario, I don't know if it dropped last month or the prior month on the JP side. May be the JP side. I don't know the timing of when one of them dropped, but I mean, I believe something dropped, kind of give a little bit of a pop off last month as well. Seeing as we have the different servers, different times, we're starting new scenarios or big banners dropping. So these can kind of fluctuate, but fully expecting with Grand Live and all that it to go up, and it did. Now Umamusume is one of those ones where at one point they finally added the ability to buy on their website and you get some bonus carrots off of it that way. And so I know a lot of people, I know like some of the Leviathans that play this game in my server, they buy it through the website and they spend a crap ton of money and none of it is counted in here. So I know for a fact, I knew Musume, Wuthering Waves is kind of in the same case where it's more of a PC game, so a lot of spending also on that one goes on PC. And so compared to the more mobile friendly games, these numbers are even bigger. Now, Uma Musume is definitely a mobile friendly game, so they do make a lot of money on the phone. But with their website giving you bonus carrots, it makes no sense if you're going to buy anything to do it anywhere else besides the website. Even if you pay through the phone, you just go to the website on your phone if you don't have a PC. But so really, really good numbers. Umamusume doing it quite well. And with all the extra stuff they've been adding, giving us the independent training early, I think that's like the biggest thing. It's definitely made the game a lot easier for a lot of people to not have to feel like they have to constantly play. Now, Grand Live is kind of a terrible scenario RNG wise. A lot of people are going to hate it. But not having to deal with going back to Trackblazer like JP kind of had to do to make their parents is definitely a lifesaver to make making it through this more difficult RNG scenario a little bit better. Ark Knights continuing to pop off here. And actually, see that Ark Knights is above Enfield. Then again, Enfield is kind of. They don't really have any big pop offs right now in Enfield, in my opinion. Arcane, while I do like her, I liked her story, and I think a lot of people liked her. I don't think she's gonna pop off that much. I mean, she's down. They're down here just under 10 million. They're kind of staying about the same here. It's been kind of a little bit slow. The next character, I don't know, the idol character who'll be dropping this month. I don't think she'll be a big money maker. I think she'll do well though, since she is a core support that'll go for Zhang Feng. And so I feel like this could potentially shoot up, but this seems to be like the 10 million range seems to be like their standard. And then when they have a big banner, it'll shoot up a little bit. But yeah, this is overall pretty good. Pretty stable for them. Let's see any other ones here. Infinity Nikke. Never played the game. I did see when it launched. They had like that big, huge issue where they like changed the game up, but doesn't look like it hurt it too much. Still making a decent amount of money there. Let's see. Girls Frontline 2 holding nice and well. I mean, it's mostly just a waifu collector for me at this point. I don't heavily play it. I mean, I can pretty much auto everything except like their more difficult content that I don't really try anymore. I just kind of watch it a little bit for the story here and there, and then just collecting the T-dolls as they drop. Still really like the game in that aspect. I just don't have the time with all the gachas I'm playing to heavily invest time in trying to do the more difficult content, especially with Umamusume. Still really love the game. Not planning on quitting it anytime soon. I don't really like too much content on it anymore, other than polls, though. Well, that could always change. We'll just have to see. But yeah, it's good to see them doing well. They were struggling for a little bit, I know. But as you can see, even CN's kind of recovering a little bit on there. And then globally, yeah, it's kind of spreading it. So it's about half and half. So good to see. They keep moving through here. Azur Lane going down a little bit here. Still a big one for being as old of a game as it is. Really looking forward to their follow-up game here, Azure Premilia. It's not going to be in the same realm or same kind of universe as Azure Lane. Definitely not as much fan service as it's going to be targeting a more general audience. But I definitely, with Azure Lane being as popular as it is, I fully expect Azure Premilia to be a really good game. And it looks like it is going to release probably on the Asian side, like JP and CN first, before we get a global release. So who knows? I may be able to luck out because I will definitely play it, even if it doesn't release globally, just to actually get a lot of experience with it for when it does release globally. I can actually have a lot of knowledge in it to be, because I really would like in Azure Premilia to like make it one of my core games, like alongside Umamusume, if everything shapes out to be as good as I'm liking. So. And seeing how Azur Lane's still doing good, I fully expect that game to make a lot of money, especially since it's more got a more general target audience while still having the fan service. I know a lot of people are worried about it losing a lot of the fan service. While it won't be as crazy as Azur Lane can get, it definitely has plenty in there. And let's see some of the smaller ones. Brown Dust 2, a game I just recently have tried. I mean, hey, the gameplay is all right in it. I mean, I haven't pushed too far. I'm not really logging in heavily, but man, they just throw poles at you like crazy. And I can see where you do spend the money in there if you really want that more extreme fan service. Although I have seen some of the things that apparently there's gonna be some censorship because of Korean laws or something, which I mean, with Brown Dust 2's target audience, that's definitely not a good thing. But I mean, the game's not terrible in terms of the gameplay. I mean, with all the heavy fan service games, I definitely put um Nikke, Goddess of Victory, above all of them. Is definitely my favorite of all of the more heavy fan service, alongside with Girls Frontline 2. Although I put Nikke's gameplay above Girls Frontline 2. Um, Girls Frontline 2 was very good early on, when you were leveling up and going through the story, and you actually had to put some effort in the tactics to it. Now it's kind of just auto or having the right characters to do it. I know with the more challenging modes, it's definitely a lot better from what I understand. Um, but Nikke's is just really, really fun. The kind of infinite leveling with it. I will say eventually, probably within the next 6 months to a year, I'll probably have my power level in Nikke to the point where even the hardest hard mode of the story will be below me, and then I kind of will lose any of the challenge pretty much with any of the story content on that. But still, their solo raids and all that stuff still has that need to kind of work on them, build them out, get their gear, and then participating in that, which you don't really see too much in a lot of these other ones. But still, they're always good with the fan service. Chaos Zero Nightmare, big dip on them. Man, I mean, Chaos Zero Nightmare, really good game. I really liked it when it came out. Just it just had the same problem Umamusume kind of has, which is very, very time consuming. Apparently, they fixed a lot of it now. It has kind of its own variation of like independent training, I believe, that Umamusume has, that really reduced the amount of time commitment you need in the game. But a lot of good fan service in this game as well. And it was I only had quit because of time commitment. Outside of that, I really liked the game overall. And let's see, is there any others? I think couple others that I've played. They're getting kind of lower on here. Wonder where my very first game that I did content creation's doing here. And they have kind of fallen quite a bit, or did I pass them? They've typically been in the million range. I shouldn't have passed them by this point. Unless they've fallen a little bit more than I expect. Well, we got Lost Sword here. Oh, they had a pretty big pop off. I think they're going through a half anniversary or something. Man, going from 260 to 700, that's a big hit. I mean, this is another good fan service. This one's an auto battler. They give a ton of pulls in this game, although you pretty much need the max out characters to really take the full value of them, and push farther into the main story. Really like the game. Really good fan service. Good to see them popping off here. Too many gotchas to play. Sword of Convallaria. Oh man, they're down to 500,000. They were at 572 last. I think they're coming up on an anniversary here though. Because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it August was the anniversary when it came out? Because I started late August when I did my very first videos on Sword of Convallaria. I started content creation in this game, so I really liked the game. Has the Final Fantasy Tactics vibes and feel to it. I mean, I only quit it realistically because I popped off on Girls Frontline 2. I was doing Honkai Star Rails in the Zone Zero. Ash Echoes, I believe, and a couple others, and it just, yeah, I couldn't maintain it, and it just kind of fell off. Partially because the difficulty. I mean, the content. That they're really good about actually having some difficult endgame content as they release it, and needing to actually put effort into it, which can be hard when you're playing a lot of gachas. Um, and it just kind of lost its. I just didn't really have fun doing it at that point. And I was really, I mean, a lot of my views were coming for Girls Frontline 2 at that point as well. And so it kind of fell off on the view count. So I just kind of had to drop it at the time when it came to the time commitment. Same reason, I mean, that I've dropped other games is because Umamusume is like my main game right now. It does the best. I have Final Fantasy Record Keeper. I will say this is the very first ever gacha I played. Now, I mean, I played the global version when it existed. I remember I think the very first character being Sephiroth with his Masamune weapon and getting stupidly lucky pulling his the Masamune right when it dropped on this game. Crazy to see it still around on the JP side. I mean, that game I only played for a couple months. I was in the military, I think, when it came out originally, so it's not like I could do like you do with a lot of these gachas nowadays, which is spend a lot of time playing daily on it. Couldn't do it back then. Delasora, I remember this one releasing. I never got to really try it. Looked interesting. Holding, I mean, it's down here in the lower side of things. Man, Etheria Restart really going low. I mean, this was a game I was in the content creator program when this came out. I thought it was initially a good idea, and I liked the concept because most gachas with the PvP, they typically it's just really, really bad on the PvP, and it was okay, but it was just, man, it was really difficult to do the PvE side of things to get yourself ready for PvP. And so I feel like I had to focus more on the PvE, never really could get into the PvP, and then Umamusume came out like I think a month after this, and that took all my time, which caused me to drop it. Um, I just didn't have the time for it. Umamusume, I popped off, and thus the restart just fell to the back burner. But I'm wondering what's going on with them. Their like income has been they popped off with like 10 million, I think, and then now they're all the way down to this. I have no clue. I've not kept up with it at all. Kind of going down here. I don't think there's anything. Dual Knight Abyss continues to go down as well. I played the beta of this, never played the actual launch. I actually think like the one thing that actually made it fall off for me in terms of wanting to try it out was when they got rid of the gacha. It's kind of the fear that I have with Ananta. We'll have to see. Ananta, it will have its own variation of how they'll make money outside of having like the main character gacha. But this one, I like I could see it coming with the heavy grind to get everything, and I just prefer the gacha system and just being smart with accumulating gacha currency and pulling versus a free to play where it's just an insane heavy grind. Usually they'll have a way to pay to win it, but usually they're a lot worse in my experience than some of the gacha ones. Haven't played it on release though, so I have no clue on that or what's going on with it, but it's definitely dipping down. So it didn't really work out well from them when they moved away from the gacha. And that is, I think, I don't think there's anything that I played or talked about or tried any farther down. Let's see. Oh, Cat Fantasy. It was a game I was going to try that dropped not long after Sword of Convalaria. Never tried it, though. I mean, I was waiting for Uma Musume at that point. Last Origins on here. I didn't even know they were on here. Yeah, this one's, like, I was going to play the censored version on, I was going to try streaming it, but I did not. Another Brown 2 level game, although can go a little crazier than that. Haze Reverb's kind of in the same realm where, man, they are very hard to stream something like these games. You have to be very careful. Demonetized real quick. Oh wait, Snowbreak is all the way down. Man, they got screwed. I feel like I had one sponsorship video over the game. I actually really liked like the gameplay. The gunplay felt okay on it to me. I had plenty of good fan service in it, which I know was one of the main drawing points for most people on it, but the censorship that they're basically forced into I believe now they're on a maintenance mode, which means they're basically probably into servicing. Um, yeah, it just wrecked them. That just really sucks. Um, because even though I did like when I do the sponsorships, I try like when I get offers for them, I try to make sure it's a game that I actually like. Maybe I won't be playing it just because I'm kind of late to the party, but I actually like the game itself. I don't like to do the idea of doing ads or something I just outright don't like, and it's kind of sad to see what happened with them because I felt like they were pretty good niche in that gunplay zone. Like I would like Girls Frontline to make something like Snowbreak kind of style gameplay, but in the Girls Frontline 2 universe. I think that would be really, really good. Or maybe like a mixture of that, like doing like the Azure Premilia Genshin Impact style open world, but having the gunplay of like Snowbreak. I think that would be a good one. You can almost think of it being like a kind of think of a game, maybe like a Destiny 2 style game, but in that respect. Who knows though? Maybe someone will make that at some point. So, oh, wait, these ones are saying that. Okay, these are the ones that are actual maintenance mode. So maybe they're not. They just haven't done anything new. The Star Seed. This one came out not that long ago, didn't it? Black Beacon, I know, has been kind of on the death spiral. Um, Ash Echoes is completely ended. I thought Ash Echoes was still around. It was just I thought it was just global that died, but maybe the whole thing fell. I did try this game on launch. I actually liked the game. It was very niche gameplay. I could tell it probably wasn't going to go do crazy well. It definitely was very niche in how it played compared to other gachas, but it had all your typical gacha concepts. You just had to understand how to play it. Sad to see it collapse though. But I mean that's just the life of gacha games. Sometimes it can be tough. I mean, and that's why like when I talk about like Azure Premilia, while they are going to be cutting back a little bit on the fan service for the open world style gameplay, it's definitely going to be better for them. They're not like from what I've seen, they're not completely killing off the fan service for people worried about that. It's just they can't go to the extreme levels that Azur Lane does, which Azur Lane gets close to like the Brown Dust 2 level of fan service, and that's just not going to do well in the market versus toning it down just a little bit. They still have the dorm system that they've been showcasing that's just kind of getting to the same levels as Girls Frontline 2, so people don't need to worry about that. But that if they're not willing to adjust, you can see the problems that it has. But that is all of the revenue for July. Everything looking pretty good on the games I'm currently playing. I mean, Umamusume is like, it's going to be my core game for the foreseeable future. I mean, they have, like, this last month, they really showed that they are now willing to make, like, fundamental changes. The only thing they really haven't been willing to change is the banners. But I mean, this is the first time of them bringing something that like is fairly new to JP early to us, and it was significant with independent training. Independent training just like a lot of the problems people had that solves because now you don't have to feel like you have to play a crap ton to make like good parents and grandparents to be competitive on that side of things. Now you can use the independent training in Umamusume, and you can make reasonable parents and grandparents. If you're not willing to re-up your TP with carrots, of course, to keep doing them all day, you're not going to be like able to catch up to the people like me who are doing it nonstop. But you will be able to make good enough ones to be competitive and still be able to win the CMs if you put in the effort on your ace runs. And that was massive. It basically killed off Trackblazer, which was going to be the biggest negative, was still needing to do parents and grandparents there if you want the strongest ones. Giving us the early Unity Cup, if you still want to do manual runs, that's still really good for your parents and grandparents, and getting kind of ignited wit and stuff built into them. But it's changed everything for the better. And I'm excited to see what else they kind of add in that could shake up things. We'll just have to see. But yeah, overall, pretty good. I like the numbers. That'll be it for now, though. And if you like my content, if you like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.